Been a while, right? Since the last live, like 5 minutes ago. Welcome everybody. Welcome to my replay viewers. I really enjoyed talking to you guys. So I really want to create a card today. So I saw an YouTube tutorial, and I will put her name down on the description box after this video records and all that, because I just can't think of her name at the moment. But I saw this video on YouTube, and this YouTuber did this awesome thing. And let's make sure I am seeing comments and such. She did this really cool, neat trick where she, watercolored with this, which we know that you can watercolor these, but she did a faux, not a faux, an actual no line coloring. And I thought it was a really neat idea how she did it. So I really wanted to play with it. And I'm going to use this Butterfly Daisy Mandela stamp from Ken Oliver. You guys may have it. It's one of those things that's in my stash. Hi! Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. I had this stamp set, and I don't know where it came from, but I know I have it, so I'm gonna use it. And I have some watercolor paper, and let's see. This is my Sizzix sticky paper. I showed you guys on one of the videos. It's just sticky grit paper, which I use now as my sticky paper for my stamping on my Misty, so I don't have to use magnets. I'm just gonna line it up so it's there. And then I'm gonna take this beautiful stamp set, absolutely gorgeous, kind of set it right there. Oops, you know what I forgot? I forgot to take off my little, oops, this one. Clearly I used this foam for a while now. Okay, so I'm gonna put that down again. And so I'm just gonna make sure it all lines up. I'm using my Misty. Now, what I'm gonna do is kind of just very loosely kind of just put some ink onto my butterflies very loosely. So I'm not gonna do a whole lot. Like, I'm gonna take the blue sketch. Actually, I'm gonna take the lighter color. Let's take Salty Ocean. You know what? Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so I'm gonna take Salty Ocean, and I'm just going to kind of color my butterflies a little bit. And you know what? It's okay if it's not perfect, because I'll show you what we're gonna do. So then I'm gonna put this down using the Misty. The key is using a stamp positioner. It doesn't have to be the Misty, but it is a stamp positioner. So I have this so far, and now I want to add some of my green. This is Lucky Clover. I'm gonna put that on some of the leaves. Try as best as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect, guys. It really doesn't. Not when you're crafting. It never has to be perfect when you're crafting. I think your craft room is where you come out and you play. Everything in life is you have to do so precisely. So you come out to your craft room, and that's where you just simply play. So I have some of my colors there, and then I'm going to, I'm going to color the flowers with, warm lipstick. I'm just going to put warm lipstick on some of these flowers. And it's okay if that happens. I know Tim Ho showed that if you do that, it's completely okay. You just take a napkin and just wipe it off, because it really doesn't do a whole lot of damage. It doesn't seep in, which is what you don't want it to do. And it doesn't, so it's all clean. Snap this again. And then I am gonna go with my lightest color, which was this. And I'm gonna just kind of go on the outsides just to make sure all my flowers and everything kind of stamped. There you go. So now I am going to take this off. Put that down. I'm gonna put this put a heat tool to this just because when I'm going to be coloring it with the watercolor, I don't want it to seep too much. And you know what? I should zoom you guys in a little bit more too. Make sure you guys can see everything. Now I'll have to tell you guys, I feel like this is already just gorgeous. You could totally just put this on a card and call it a day because it literally is very gorgeous. But we're going to take it a few steps further. Let's zoom you guys in just a tiny bit more because we're going to be doing a lot more watercoloring. So I'm going to make myself a little palette on my non-slip mat. So I know I used the Lucky Clover, so I'm going to put a little bit of dab of Lucky Clover on my mat. And I know I used the worn lipstick, so let's put a little bit of that down on my mat. And I used Salty Ocean, but I'm going to use the Blueprint Sketch as my color. I have a water brush right here. You know, I'm gonna get let's see, where's my other watercolor brush? I can't find my other one. So we're just gonna be using this one. I had a one with a thinner tip. You know what, I can't find it, so it's okay. So we're just going to be coloring it all in. So for example, the leaf, I'm gonna get my green and just kind of loosely color it all in. And it's okay if it goes out a little bit. You really just, it's not too, it's okay. I'm going to get a darker shade of green though. Let's get a darker shade and we can shade and do some shading. What's a darker shade? I have, now this is not distressed, but this is just pine needles of regular oxide ink, and I think it will work because it's similar. Just going to do that with all the little leaves here. I'm not being very careful because this is a very artsy, flowy kind of a card where you're just making all the little, let's see, all the little leaves just kind of be green. That's all you're trying to do here. So I got all my leaves and they're pretty green. I got a little too much carried away there with all my ink. So I'm just gonna clean my brush off and go on to the next color. So for the next one, I think I'm gonna do my butterflies. So for my butterflies, let's get out a little bit more of the Salty Ocean. Oops, that's a lot of Salty Ocean. I'm gonna get that and just kind of color a butterfly with it. I'm gonna get the darker blue sketch and just kind of make a little bit of, what's that called? Shadow effect. And you can see those other colors are kind of bleeding in, and that's okay. That's what you want. because we're gonna make this beautiful. It's gonna be beautiful. Okay, so let's start from the outside. Make sure you guys can see all this. Mix it all and then get some of the darker blue sketch and just darken it up. And, and this YouTuber who I hope I will put her link down. She said this, and I'm gonna say it too. Watercolor never looks good until you are done with it and you let it sit. So don't give up. Don't, like, just keep going. Just tell yourself this is gonna be beautiful, and it will. I promise you, it will. And go with the light. Go with that darker, just kind of tap it in. Are those all the... Yes, they are. Okay, so I'm gonna now clean my brush off again. Make sure all the color is on. And then I'm going to go in with pink. This is gonna be my... And then just put some little dots of darker color. Let's see, I have picked raspberry, would be a nice darker shade. So use let's see, picked raspberry just to put kind of give a little bit of color in that. Darker color. I'm not really crazy. I'm not going crazy on like actually worrying about the lines. I'm all over, guys. Getting some more. Just dabbing it on. Again, just oh, I missed a butterfly. Guess I'll have to go back in. Alrighty, so let's clean that and do that other butterfly, which I did. Let's see, go with the lighter. Go with the darker a little bit. And if you like missed a few spots, like I see I missed it, you can just go in with any color, really. It really doesn't matter, guys, because we're going to make this even more beautiful. Just gonna go in. Oops, I missed one. It's okay. It's not called messing up. It's just artistic. I'm just gonna go and do this, do that, and then I want a very muted color for the background. So I'm gonna use this, let's see, picked raspberry. I'm gonna water it down quite a bit and just kind of dab it here and there. And while that's still wet, I'm gonna go in with the Alrighty. Let's get a little bit more of this, let's see, picked raspberry. It's a really gorgeous color. Go in a little bit, but it's like you're just literally wetting it a little bit and then going in and using that picked raspberry as your darker shade and just kind of having fun with your watercolor. And this is what's cool about watercolor. It's so unpredictable and it's so fun because of that. As you guys can tell, I really wanted to be unpredictable today. I really wanted to just play. And I love when that happens, when you have a chance to come into your craft room. See, kind of. Again, I'm not doing anything crazy. I mean, literally just scribbling water is what I'm doing here and there. Alrighty, so I'm going to quickly dry this up. Look how gorgeous those colors are. I love it. Oh my goodness, look at how pretty. Okay, so let's dry this up. Can go back. Spots I know didn't get too much paint or ink. Just kind of sap some of that ink up. This is so cool. I love doing, this is called ink smushing, so this is one of my favorite things to do, and since I had a little extra of the paint, or my ink, why not? Then I'm just gonna get any extra little bits I have here. It's not a lot. And look, you can build onto this, you can make this as a background, and really, there are so many possibilities with this, so I'm excited to use this on another card another time. Awesome, awesome. So, okay, let's clean this part up. It's pretty gone, everything, but just in case. Clean our desk off. We want to make sure this is very, very nice and dry. So let's hit it again. Alrighty, the reason why we want it dry is because we're gonna emboss this. And we are gonna put it right back where it was. I know that it was by 1 inch, and go. Alrighty, and I'm going to make sure, first of all, I just kind of want to make sure this is just a little cleaned up. Alrighty, let's make sure this is completely dry. So I'm just going to take my heat embossing tool. This is just going to make sure all the static is removed. And it's not wet anywhere. This thing doesn't always want to come out. I do like my other one better, but I'm going to use this up. You really want to make sure it's dry, and there you go. So that's all dry. Now we're going to take our Versamark ink pad and some, let's see, where did I put my embossing powders? Let's see. Got it. Alrighty, I am going to use trying to figure out what color I want to use. I think I'm going to use the silver. Alright, one more thing. You got it. Now let's get your pad. This is a Versamark watermark pad. So you heat emboss with this, and I'm just going to put this all over my stamp. I know you guys can't really see too much. Sorry about that. Make sure every inch has this Versamark on it so it stamps nicely. Alrighty. And then this is exactly where I need it to be. So I'm going to just put this down and really press down on it. Just make sure it all stamps. Let's see, did it? Pretty much. I'm going to go in with it one more time just to do it one more time, and then we can put our little powder on. Just closed on me. All right. I think that looks pretty darn good. Pick this up, put this down, bringing our, this is Nuvo embossing powder. It is classic silver. Awesome. Put this all over. It's okay, you're gonna dump all that back in. So no worries right there. Just gonna tap off the extra. Put that to the side because I am gonna be using it again. And I'm gonna take my heat tool once again. And I'm going to just heat set that. You will see it change. You see the color changing? I think that's the coolest thing in the world. Ah, I don't know if you guys can see it. Sorry, guys. I think this is so cool. Just heat it up on the back. Look how cool this already looks. I mean, that is awesomeness. That is the coolest thing. I love that. I love that effect. But I'm going to do it one more time because I really do want those lines to be a little bit more defined, especially like right here. So I'm just gonna let this cool down. Oh, you know what? I can see over here it's just powder still. It's not, it didn't melt yet. Let's do that before we move on. Alrighty, there's that. So let's just dry this. Just complete. I think this is so neat. Isn't that the coolest thing? I love this. I love this like look. And see where it really didn't matter where you went with that color. It looks gorgeous no matter what. So you don't have to go crazy about that watercolor. You can heat emboss this before and then watercolor after. That's totally cool. Uh, I like the randomness that this brings because you're really not, the colors just are everywhere. It's a little less thinking for me. So I really think it's fun in that sense. Okay, so make sure this is not hot anymore, and it's not. I'm gonna bring back, and this is why the Misty is so amazing for this technique, because you can just put it back where it was, like before. And then I'm going to put my Versamark again. Let's really ink that up. I think my Versamark pad needs to probably be re-inked as well. I'm just gonna press that, especially in the middle, because last time that didn't work out too well. It wasn't terrible, but it just, ready. This once, I'm gonna do it one more time just to make sure. Oops. All right, let's get that off. Get that powder back. And I still have it in here, so you can just take what you have here, or you can just dump more. Doesn't matter. Probably gonna just dump more. It's easier that way. And make sure you get all those spots. And before I do anything else, I am going to put all my powder back in, because otherwise I know I will knock it over and make a huge mess. So let's just put that back in, and I already kind of did. There you go. It's all back in. There's a little bit I'm gonna just scoop right back into my bottle that kind of made it in, kind of didn't. Alrighty, now we're gonna do that same step. If you see any that's out where you don't want it, you can take a brush and you can just wipe it off. Go. Let's heat set this. And doing it the second time is going to make that area even more raised, and it's just going to be gorgeous, even more gorgeous. It's going to be more defined. Look how cool that looks, guys. Isn't that neat? I think it's so cool. You can see it all, just it's all shiny and pretty and it's just gorgeous. And it's pretty dry. So now to kind of give it a more finished look, I always love to go in and kind of blend it in, blend the edges a little bit more. Let's see, what can I do that with? Can I do that? Yeah, I can do it with this. So I'm just gonna go in with the, let's see, the picked raspberry is the one I'll do. Just kind of giving a more, I always like doing this with my edges, just giving it a more finished look on your card. It just makes it all tied. Just feel like it's all tied together. It was made like this. This paper was completely made like this for this exact purpose. And you can use any blending tool. I just decided to use this, and there's no particular reason for that. There you go. So you have that. Oops, I don't know why I just did that. Silly me. Wipe that off. Put that lid back on. Now we are going to plop it onto a card base. Let's get a card base. Let's go with this because I think having that, oh, this is like cut exactly to base, so we won't really have it's not going to show that part. So you know what? Why don't we just go with black then? You could technically trim this down, but you know what? I'm not going to. I'm just going to plop it right in. Do that. Let's take some foam tape. I always like putting foam tape on my watercolor paper because it does get warped and all that. So you want to make sure you have a good, strong adhesive. So let's do this. And this is my big old roll of Scotch foam tape that I use to usually make my shaker cards, but also just to add some dimension. It really doesn't matter how you do this because no one's gonna see the back. I promise you. No one is gonna see the back. Alrighty, that's gonna do it. Alright, oops, sorry guys. That was squeaky. My desk was squeaky. Okay, so just peel these off. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Alright, and then just put this right on. And this is what I was talking about in my earlier video. It's a little difficult to line up cards, but kind of hold it on the top and match the bottom up. Then you will see that everything else kind of just lines up together nicely. And I am going to leave this as a note card. I'm not going to put a sentiment on it, but I may put some embellishments, which I will actually do right now. So I have some Nuvo Jewel Drops, and what I'm going to do is just kind of go in random places, just kind of put some what I know is kind of just missing a little bit of something. Oops. Now I have to make that larger because I got too excited with that. So that's one large one. So I'm gonna go by, oops, tiny, put some tiny, tiny ones, each one. And when I am done and when this is completely dry and this video is uploaded, I'm going to have a picture of the finished card because right now it's not dried, so this is going to look a little funky because it's not going to be all clear. But I assure you it's going to be gorgeous when it's dry. And that's the card. Isn't that fun? Like where we came from and where we are now. That is coolness. And look at all that shine. It's like silvery, shiny, goody, fun. Like how fun is that? I love doing this kind of cards. It's so fun, not so difficult, not a lot to think about, and just you get to play. All right, guys, I'm gonna call it a night. I hope you have a wonderful Friday night. If you like this video, make sure you thumbs it up. And if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of any other